Hey, this is Ben with Beartooth Powder Guides. I'm going to show you guys how to use our new Wise Way pellet stove at the Mount Zimmer Yurt. So here it is. Just a couple of things about it. It has a hopper up top that you fill in with the pellets. You want to make sure that's full for yourself before you get started. There's a can here, has more pellets in it right there. It'd be next to the stove. And there's usually pellets around the yurt you'll find in bags. The first things you want to do is come over, make sure this knob is in a downward position in the hopper. We can verify that there's not any pellets in there at this time, and that should be empty right now. Then we're going to go over here and we're going to look at the damper, and the damper is right here. If you turn this to the left and you can slide it, it should be open there. We want it closed for starting it. So it works the opposite way that a normal damper does. Closed is actually going to get hotter. Open is going to make it colder in here. So got that shut off. Then we're going to come over here. We're going to take this off on the burn chamber. We're going to verify that the ash box is empty. We'll empty that into the ash can, and then the secondary burn plate, we'll pull that out, empty off anything in there, make sure that's good. Now we're going to go ahead, and underneath the kitchen counter we keep a basket here with a torch, a couple torches actually, and extra propane. So the way these work, pretty simple. You turn it to the on there, you click it on, and now it's working. And then if you want to lock it in the hands-free position, you push that button, it's hands-free. Then we're going to stick this torch inside of here, just like that. And we're going to let it sit there for 4 minutes. So you want to time it, and then after 4 minutes, we'll show you the next thing you're going to do. The torch has been going for 4 minutes. We're going to go ahead and open the hopper door at this point, which is right here. We're going to lift that, turn the knob to the left, lift that up. That's going to fill the stove. We're going to turn that back so it's locked in the upward position. Now this thing we're going to leave in there, and we're going to keep an eye on it, and it's going to start to light the stove. And we want to go ahead and leave the torch on there till this thing reads here on the temperature gauge about 200 degrees solid, and you can see the fire going. And once that 200 degrees is going, you can remove the torch, and after you remove the torch, you'll wait till it gets to 400 degrees on here, and then you can put the cover back on the main burn chamber right here. Then you can manage your stove. Once it gets up to temperature 500-600 degrees, when it's getting hot in here, you can open this up and you'll end up damping it down to cool it down. When you go skiing for the day, you just leave this thing running. You open the door so it's running cool. It's not going to get too hot in here and waste a bunch of pellets. And when it gets too warm, or when you want it warmer in here, you just close this to the closed position. And the last thing you got to remember is when you guys leave the yurt, when you're done for your trip, all you're going to end up doing is closing this knob right here. You're just going to drop that knob, close that door, and that'll stop feeding the pellets. Now the stove's going to run for another 45 minutes after you do that, and that's just fine. But make sure that door is shut when you leave, and that's all you need to do. Now you're going to need to manage this stove. It's pretty simple by emptying the ashtray and emptying the burn chamber plate, the secondary plate here, at least once a day. And if you can do it twice a day, it's going to be better. Just put that ashes in here, and you can do it while the stove's running. It's just fine. Enjoy.
So a couple of things to try if the stove is not running hot enough. The first thing is we'll take off our primary burn tube cover, and then if you take a screwdriver and rattle it in here like that, it should allow the ash to fall through a grate. Another thing to try if you've done that and it's still not running hot enough is to remove the primary burn tube and check and see if there's ash in this grate here. If there is, we'll empty that into our ash bin. And we want to replace our burn tube. And put our cover back on. Make sure that's seated in there so you can't see a gap right here. And then double check our secondary, dump that in, and our ash tray. Another thing that you might see is our hopper. Sometimes when the hopper runs a little while, it will draw from the right hand side over here. So we'll want to make sure that all those pellets are evened out, so it has something to draw from. And lastly, we want our stove to be running right around 500 to 700. If it's running above 700, it's too hot, and we'll need to damp it down down here to make sure it's not running. But it should be running between 500 and 700 degrees.